Anwuli Femi-Pearse, the head of treasury sales at Union Bank, joins us now to give her highlight of Nigeria's fixed income, money and forex markets this week. Thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Thank you.
Well, just talk us through what played out this week. I understand supply was low at the primary market auction yesterday, but just tell us what we do not know.
Okay, so the primary market had an overhang of $150 million, 150 billion naira. That was basically because they sold less than the auctioned. Also, at the same time, we had some maturity that didn't roll over. This is an overhang of the Eurobond that came in last like 2 weeks ago, right? So Nigeria has kind of divested from naira borrowing to dollar borrowing.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Do you actually see this also playing out up until next week as well?
Oh yeah. Okay. So most of the treasury auctions, we're going to see a drop in the offer and market. But however, we still have the open market operations, that the treasury bill secondary market being offered in the market. Of
course, clearly it actually has been a bullish week as well. I'm really interested in knowing if that positive trend is going to enter into next week and what is going to sustain that bullish trend next week.
Okay, so today we didn't have any OMO auction, or we haven't had any OMO auction as of today. And if that goes on till next week, which we doubt, then we'll continue the liquid market. However, we have the retail auction, the FX retail auction today, so we expect that to take money out of the market. We also have likely OMO auctions next week, so that the liquidity in the market will thin out, and then we'll have rates back to levels of about 15.
There's actually been some, level of stability, especially in the FX space. Did you also experience that level of stability in the I&E window? What played out?
Yeah. It was relatively stable. Really, no major inflows in the market. Nothing really has happened in that space. Rates are between 360 and 360 band, so nothing really has happened.
Even with that slight dip in oil price, we still had it.
No, it's same old true. Well, the central bank has still maintained their $500,000 daily to interbank. So that has kept the interbank rates at 305.9.
Talking about what the central bank has done, I see the central bank has actually intervened in certain subsectors. We actually saw that in the interbank markets, the SMIs, wholesale and retail as well. Talk us through which of these subsectors actually had the most impact from the CBN's intervention this week. So we had the aftermath of the retail auction last week. So most times when you go for the retail auction, CBN sells less than what's on offer. So we got our inflows coming back into the system. That's the naira inflows. That's also impacted on the naira liquidity in the market. And during the week also, we also had the wholesale, which took about $100 million. That's about 34 billion naira in the system. So that also thinned out some liquidity in the system. We have a retail auction today, right? And we expect that should also thin out money in the system. I was actually going to ask you what the true value of the naira is today, but then we also understand that, of course, it's not really the whole law of demand and supply playing out when it comes to our FX space. But what is the true value of the naira? I think we should actually say the true value of the dollar.
Of the dollar.
Today, yes.
Okay, so the black market is at 363. The I&E window is about 360.5.6. And so I'll say the true dollar of the naira is in between two spaces. Okay, so hopefully maybe that's about, say, 362, 361, as it is.
Now, of course, the MPC hasn't formed a quorum to begin with. Many say, of course, the economy will continue to run, but then our fears if a crisis is to happen, then what really plays out here? What do you make of this delay actually seen so far and the likely impact this would actually have in any of these markets?
Well, I think the basic parameters, right, that MPC decides on, the MPR rates, the FX rates, CRR liquidity ratio and all that, have been regular, have been defined, and so even if they don't meet in the next few months or few weeks, I think the market running at this economy at this pace should be fine. I don't see anything significant happening.
In all honesty, if the next person I ask the question about the MPC delay says there really isn't going to be any impact, I'm just not going to ask again, because then it just seems as if, you know what, then that's not news. When they want to come together, they come together. But I do understand that, of course, the implications might come afterwards. I mean, we still need that direction to begin with. Now, how would you actually rate, foreign interest in our local bonds today?
Well, it was good for the euro bonds. So it tells me that the euro bonds last time there was a euro bond was about 7 billion, and they sold about $2.5 billion. The foreign market as well. We've seen, like you saw, the market was bearish and was bullish this week. There's still demand on the OMO side from the offshore players, and then we also see them attacking the FGN bonds range auctions as well. So it's pretty good. Pretty good demand.
Now, what do you think might actually trigger a change, in what we've seen next week? What do you think is likely to happen? What do you think investors should look out for?
Well, the market has been stable,
Okay.
right? Relatively stable. So when I say stable in terms of securities, I mean it's between 13 to 14%. Almost gets as high as 14.5%, which is, you know, about 15% yield. So it's pretty stable, right? There's nothing significantly that we expect to happen between now and next week. So I think we have a flat market structure.
I guess we actually obtained that level of confidence in the market that our investors do not have any major concern anymore, like we had in 2017.
Well, maybe political.
Okay.
Nothing fundamental
Being a
apart from
pre-election
political.
year?
Yeah, maybe.
How do you see that playing towards the end of the year as it begins to tighten? What kind of changes are we likely to see?
Well, most likely government spending, an increase in interest rates.
Okay.
That's what we see as well. Maybe some pressure on FX.
Okay,
It depends on how much foreign reserves have been accrued on, or how much the government is ready to support the naira with the foreign reserves.
So clearly, we actually see more players within that space towards the end of the year.
What kind of players?
Talking about those investors into the fixed income space. So do you actually see an exodus into the equity space?
Well, in the past, from past references, during that part of that time of the year, during when we're close to elections, we hardly see foreign investors play very actively in the market. Okay. So they try to hold on and watch to see what's going on.
Where's the go-to place for investors today? I mean, people are actually looking for where to put that money right now. Where would you say is actually the hottest spot right now to invest in?
Well, I'll say treasury bills.
Okay.
Treasury bills between 180 to 270 day treasury bills.